Welcome to another Founder Wisdom podcast. We have Theresa Szczurek with us today. She's an innovation guru and entrepreneur, state CIO of State of Colorado, if my memory is good. Board member, recently exited Radish system. We're going to talk about how that happened, the M&A side of it, and everything between. It's her second time on the podcast, so you can go watch her last one, which was filmed, I think, a year and a half ago. This podcast is presented to you by podpire.com. If you want to start your own podcast, be invited to other podcasts, you can go to podpire.com. We have a free ebook and a masterclass there for you to monetize your podcast through AdSense, sponsors, and lead generation. Theresa, welcome to the pod again for round two. Tell me again about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Well, hello, and thank you, Charles, for having me. So yes, I'm Theresa Szczurek, and I'm a technology, business growth, and innovation strategist. I leverage all of my experience in the private and public sector, three-time tech entrepreneur, former state of Colorado CIO, and board member in order to help organizations reach new heights in profit, productivity, and passion. And so I'm doing a lot of consulting and coaching and speaking now because we were fortunate to sell our last software venture a few months ago.
Congrats on that. So was that the intention when you started Radish in 2020? And tell me how the acquisition process happened.
Yes. The company was actually founded in 2009. And so 15-year-old venture, software-based with solid intellectual property, Radish Systems, which worked to improve the way people communicate by telephone by adding visuals. So the idea was to leverage all of our senses, not only seeing, but also hearing. And so we invented Choice View, this intellectual property that allowed voice and visuals to be shared. So yes, when we started with the end in mind, that we were looking for ultimately to be acquired. That's one of my tips from a sell side M&A perspective is companies need to start with the end in mind and know what they ultimately would like to do. So just to bring this home, and I'll tell you more about the whole process, but we sold the company, there was a transition, and now I have refreshed my coaching, consulting, and speaking. And here I am speaking with you. Yay!
So Radish, I still don't understand what it does. So it's like when the company has blogs or news to announce, it creates visuals out of voice. So if I talk to ChatGPT nowadays and I'm like, create an image of X, it will do it for me. So is that what Radish did?
Not really. Okay, let me back up.
Yeah.
Where this started. Think of a plain old telephone call. And when you call a company, many times you will get an automated phone system, what's called an IVR, or an interactive voice response system.
Yes.
Answer. People hate this often. And it's, might say, press 1 for this, press 2 for that.
Mhm.
And so the impetus for this idea came when my co-founder, Richard A. Davis, the Rad of Radish, was talking to a a travel company. And he knew there was a better way to communicate. So instead of hearing that frustrating long phone tree, imagine if on your smartphone or on your desktop, you could actually see a menu of the options.
Yes,
It would
that's
be
right.
faster, and it would increase understanding, recall, and retention.
Yes, 100%.
So that's what we were doing, is augmenting business communications by adding these omni-channel visuals. And it's really exciting. We were using it with United Way after hours when people would call in to try to find lodging, a shelter, rather than listening to 10 minutes of this automated system speak back where they could go. With our system, we could send a map, a visual, and show them where was the closest shelter and instructions on how to get there. So
Okay.
this is like the next generation of omni-channel communications, both seeing
Yes.
and hearing.
Yeah, this is way better. So, did you send an SMS? They click on the link, and from there they were redirected. Like, how would that work on my iPhone?
Well, that was one of the ways that it could be launched, was to, if you had permission to send a text message, you could send that SMS text message, and when you click on it, it would connect you into this voice and visual transaction. And so it was not quite as simple as just a text, because we had this patented intellectual property that allowed this to be done very efficiently.
What about just connecting the OpenAI algorithm to most of these voice responders? I think that would be better than like 98% of autoresponders out there. Like if I call my bank and the AI would automatically understand what I need quickly and reroute me. What do you think about that thesis?
Well, actually, yes, the implementation with AI makes a lot of sense. And that's why Radish Systems was acquired by NLX, an AI platform firm that is doing those exact things of taking this to the next generation of using AI. And this is both for live agents, call centers, as well as for these interactive voice response systems. So you're right on, Charles, that you can improve this even further with the use of AI.
Right. And how game changing was that exit from you? Because it's not your first exit. You had many before that.
Yes.
Was that one the best ever so far?
Well, this is my third exit, third venture where I founded a tech company and then served on their board and then exited. And we are happy with the exit. Yes. I mean, it's a good thing to have the technology in the hands of a company that can really leverage it for good and bring it out to a broader audience with their AI platform. So yeah, we are happy.
And what was your part in the company? Like how involved were you with the day to day, with everything else that you're doing?
Well, actually, I was the co-founder. I'll always be the co-founder, and I was the CEO. So helping the company set up its strategic direction, attract funding, and then track partners and sales, and then position for the exit. Now, after a certain number of years, I had the opportunity to go serve on the state of Colorado governor's cabinet as his first chief information officer. And so I left. I took a 2-year leave of absence, did a tour of duty at the state of Colorado, which was awesome. And then when I came back to Radish in 2020, at the end of 2020, I was serving as the chief operating officer. But yeah, it was, as you well know, an entrepreneurial venture can be 24/7. And so I was doing this a lot, as well as doing some other meaningful things, like serving on a few other boards, like the higher education board and a couple of nonprofit boards. But yeah, I was really involved. And the company, Radish Systems, was co-founded with my business partner, Richard A. Davis, the Rad of Radish, who I ended up marrying. And so it was one of those things that it was hard to get away from it, really. The first company was Radish one, we actually is when we actually got married, and the weekend of our wedding, we raised enough money to carry the company for another 6 months in lieu of wedding presents. And this company, which we used the name, we used the logo, totally new technology, patents, and we didn't get married. We stayed married, which sometimes for couples, there's more and more couples, entrepreneurs who do ventures together. It can be a challenge because you are not only trying to balance your work life, but also with your personal life. And so we had to put up certain boundaries to make it work.
How much more startups do you have in you, or do you want to focus on the board side of things nowadays?
Well, I am interested through my consulting and coaching um, and boards in helping other ventures succeed. So, I mean, I have my consulting firm, Technology and Management Solutions. You can learn more about it at tmsworld.com. And that is a running concern. And so I am preferring to help other entrepreneurs right now take their companies to the next level.
How rocky was that last one? Like, what challenges did you face before the actual exit? Was it like really stressful, typical startup style, or was that one a softer landing?
Hmm. Well, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, and you know this, Charles, I mean, it is a thrilling roller coaster ride. There is always more to do, and there's challenges. And, you know, we were able to, how rocky, you asked, how, you know, we could leverage all of our experience from having done it before. We could leverage all of our contacts, but yeah, there were rocks, there were obstacles, and one of the challenges is really the diffusion of the innovation, to go from a great idea where you bring it to the market and you know, get it implemented, and now what you want to do is have it be widely diffused. And so this is one of the things I specialize in, is building customer experience, but also the diffusion of innovation. And so one of the things we had to do was ask, okay, when we were bringing it to market, who, first of all, were we targeting in terms of the market, and how were we as a young startup going to most effectively get it out? And so one option, of course, could be direct sales. We actually chose to go with partners. Yes, we did a few direct sales and got pilots going and learned a lot from that and improved it. And then we began working with strategic partners who may already have customers, who may already have a sales force, because we were a small company. One of the other challenges was fundraising. I mean, I'm sure you'll know this from your ventures and all the entrepreneurs you talk to, is fundraising is a challenge. And frankly, women-led ventures get a much, much smaller amount of the fundraising, the funds, than others. And so that was a challenge. I mean, we had founders capital, we raised money from angels, and our first venture we had venture capital funds. For this second Radish, we did founders capital and angel investors, and then we chose to bootstrap rather than getting large venture capital involved. And part of it was because it was so darn difficult to close on those funding rounds.
And you were in charge of the M&A there. How was the process? Was it sort of easy to merge with that new company? And yet, how did it started? Did they approach you? Did you approach them? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started with the end in mind, in terms of knowing that we wanted an exit, and we wanted to put our baby, our intellectual property, our choice view technology in the hands of a well-funded company that could really take it to the next level. And so, yes, I was in charge of M&A for Radish. One of the things that we did was we were able to hire and work with a good investment banker. And that was really important because they had connections and they knew how to do it. Um, was it easy? Not necessarily. We actually went through a whole process. And now with my consulting clients, I help them as a coach, a mentor, an advisor um, go through or prepare for the M&A. And so we had to, first of all, figure out, put together our paperwork, our materials, communicating who we were and what we had to offer. And we also did a lot of work figuring out who to target and how would we reach them, and going out, and we did a lot of presentations to strategic partners as well as possible financial investors. And it turns out that one of our colleagues who was really connected in our industry ended up opening the door to NLX for us. And so connections is one of the other tips. Yes, make sure you prepare and you start with the end in mind, and you prepare by having a good product that is intellectually sound and you have protected it with patents. That's number 2. But number 3, you put together the right kind of plan so that you can communicate effectively who you are. And number 4, figure out who to target and why this would be a good thing for them. And so, it is a process, and it can sometimes take longer than you want. Even actually, after we knew it was a great match and we were both interested, then there was all of the legal paperwork. Oh my gosh, negotiating and getting the lawyers and such to agree.
Right. And the landing of it, are you still involved in the company and its operation, or did you fully let it go?
I am involved as a business development advisor. I would love to connect any of the right kind of firms to NLX, but I'm not involved in day-to-day operations. I'm more of a business development advisor for them.
Got it. And with that acquired experience, how do you advise founders going through similar experiences nowadays?
Great question. So after we sold Radish, for example, a software company CEO came to me and said, we're in the process of working towards an exit by acquisition. We have an investment banker. However, we'd really love to have you as another advisor for us. And so I have been coaching them in some of the other things that the investment banker may not be as involved with, some of the personal things, because this is the thing you have to realize. It is a big change for founders to put their company up for sale and to sell it. And there are, lots of questions, that nobody else can really answer unless they've been through it. And so this sell side M&A coaching and consulting and mentoring can be very helpful. A CEO position can be very lonely. And who do you have as a CEO to talk to? Well, why not talk to an experienced entrepreneur who's had 3 good exits and who's on your side that you can trust, who will tell you like I see it. I'm pretty frank. I will put it on the line.
Right. You're an energy powerhouse. Like, what does your day to day look like? How do you keep it at that high level?
That is a really great question, and I am very energetic and enthusiastic. I have, that's actually in terms of my 5 goals I have every year, is to have a true strong self. And I start by getting good sleep, wake up in the morning. First thing I do is exercise. Today I went to the rec center for a like weight room and then a class. Then I meditate every day, twice a day, which I think is really a source of energy. I eat well, try to look at ways to get the nutrition I need, and drink water. Drink a lot of water. Do you know that they estimate that over 50% of people are dehydrated? And what is the most important element to function, your brain function, is water. And
Yeah.
we need hydration. And so I'm a firm believer in living life to the fullest. And my 5th goal is flow, being in the flow, movement. And this stimulates more energy.
Yeah. The water thing, yeah, I think it's like drinking high quality water. So careful with the microplastics, and also like the mineral content of the water you drink. Me, I took this to levels that were quite unhealthy, like drinking too much water. Like as
Mm,
an endurance athlete, you can dilute the sodium, and you
yeah.
need to be careful actually not to drink too much. In my case, but yeah, most people don't drink enough, right? And water circulations, philosophically, it's
What?
life, right? It's
Water
I think
is
us
life.
humans, we're like 70% composed of water, if not more. um
You are,
so
yep, right on. Water is life, and we even more. I think sometimes they say 90%. But you know what? A lot of people, I don't think, have developed the discipline to do the right things for themselves. They get distracted by some things that are not really good for keeping them healthy and allowing them to expand their health span, not only their lifespan. And so, you have to ask yourself, I don't drink coffee. I don't do caffeine. Don't do alcohol. Um, Maybe a little fine wine occasionally, but, you know, what are you putting in your body, eating and drinking? And this, I think, is why I'm as energetic as I am.
yeah, or why are you doing it? Like I think people lack the consciousness. Why are you having this glass of wine? Is it to celebrate something? Are you really gonna close your eyes and focus on the taste of it and the notes of that glass of wine? Why are you
Mm.
drinking coffee? Is it just an habit? How are you feeling when you drink coffee? Do you feel dehydrated? Do you have tummy issues? Do you have the jitters? So I think people should have like more consciousness in everything that they do, and that's really hard because most do not meditate. They don't bring this attention internally. They're not self-conscious.
You are so right on. And it is fortunate if we can, through your podcast or through other things, increase people's consciousness, being present here and now, and doing the right things for the right purposes. I mean, I'm here to make a meaningful difference in the world. And if I'm healthy, I can do more of that.
Yeah, and that's so underestimated in the entrepreneurial world. A lot of people, they're looking at hacks to grow their income and so forth, but just look at your energy level. Just look at your mental performance, right? And ask yourself, how do you increase that mental performance? In my case, really logic is taking care of your brain, it's
Yes.
meditating, it's doing physical activities, it's installing all these hard habits. Because for you and I, we've probably been doing sports and meditation for years and years, decades even.
Yes.
So it's like second nature. But yeah, people need to get a start in that. How would you recommend someone to start in that right path with these good habits, and how would you recommend that they reach that
Mhm.
flow state?
Well, you have to first set an intention that you want. What do you want? believe in the attraction strategy, having a vision of what you want, in this case, to be healthy, to have a long lifespan, to be able to think well creatively. So have the intention of what you want, and then be open to the possibilities, and then put your head, heart, and hands behind it in order to attract it. And that's one of the strategies in my book, Pursuit of Passionate Purpose, that help these strategies help lubricate the process. And so with that intention, you then can start by taking a baby step. Yes, you might want to eventually do marathons or triathlons or whatever, that I've done some of those, but take a baby step. I mean, maybe it is getting up from your desk and breathing for a few minutes. Maybe it is just going on a walk around the block. And since I'm a total extrovert, one of the things I do is book these walk talks. Why do we have to have meetings always sitting down? You can, and this is why actually a phone can be very useful. I do meetings walking out in nature, and can connect with people, have great ideas rather than always sitting. And this is part of the flow movement, right? We are not designed to be stationary people. People sit way too much. So set an intention, then take some baby steps, and just allow, be kind to yourself, and reward yourself for even the smallest progress, and
Love that.
surround yourself with energizers. So those would be my 4 things.
Love that. Where can people find out more about you, Theresa?
Go to my website, tmsworld.com, and my other website, pursuitofpassionatepurpose.com. And I would love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. There's not too many Theresa Szczureks there. And reach out to me. How can I help you? Because one of my goals, in line with Deepak Chopra's 7 spiritual laws of success, is how can I help? How can I be of service? That's one of the laws of success.
Theresa,